Welcome everyone to an amazing 2 rec unit height server fan noise ASMR live stream here with the privilege of working on Intel's Hewlett Packard's IA-64 Itanium. One more thing before release, one of the best releases of T2 Linux ever, obviously, is one more thing, higher optimization for the highest performance Linux. And previously I had to disable LTO, the link time optimization for Itanium, because it broke GCC, and GCC obviously is a bit of a showstopper for source distribution. So last night, one more thing, I actually rebuilt the whole system image. This also I did not yet. It's obviously live from the Itanium, right, for all those people who wish who would have one at home. It's so new, I just archived it obviously from my build server at work that also with job friends. That I didn't even have NeoFetch here. But so yeah, this is last night's build from October. It's like, yeah, T2 Linux, the only substitute for support and amazingness is actually stuff working and being able to cross-compile it in just 2 hours on an epic record Horizon. So this is a brand new installation with LTO and everything works except Btop. So I quickly, it still fails. That is not ideal, so I need to debug that. I believe that, pretty sure. So I rebuilt LTO with, did I? I thought I did. Let's check that. Or does it still? Btop itself, it's LTO. That is of course not ideal, but I thought I removed that. Okay, the question is, we obviously need to debug that. Everything else thankfully worked though. The question, so Btop is of course, that's also the only substitute for testing is more testing, right? Just before I wanted to say, hey, it's amazing, and we can kind of sort of release it. This binary, so we should also, like, theoretically do more performance analysis, which also benefits all the other architectures to get a better understanding where does LTO mostly help, like LTO link time optimization for not optimizing single files, but building all those single files and then having like dozens of files and linking them. Not the source code, but intermediate representation, kind of bytecode. At the end will program better inlining, better code duplication removal stuff, and so on. So it can optimize better for size, it can optimize better for performance. So I'm rebuilding bin utils just to get the build time. Of course, it is a little bit apples with, apples with oranges comparison. Just basically for stability checking. So the Btop thing. The question is, how well does GDB work? So now we don't have debugging symbols, but it's probably there, and yeah. The win-win is, of course, as usual, that sometimes our cross-compile GDB didn't fully work. But this one doesn't look, so maybe I thought, and that's also the thing, right? Each combination we test and build here improves something, and the benefit of actually having LTO enabled for Itanium and selectively disabling for some packages would also give a better documentation of what is to be debugged, because the next person who comes there sees, okay, this 4 or 5 or dozen packages are disabled for LTO for Itanium, and immediately have a list of what to debug. Comment there. I saw the comment somewhere, x86 ISO fstep does not put in the disks for installation to succeed normal input. That is strange. I thought I had tested that. I can double test it. I saw that comment somewhere, so definitely thanks for that shout out. Okay, so to further debug that, we would need to have debug symbols. The question is basic string, so somehow the I wonder what is linked into there. I would have thought this should... what have we linked into Btop for be able to cause... It's just looks standard C++. This should not be LTO'd. I believe for glibc LTO should also be off. For glibc reasons. Not even sure if... Yeah, no LTO. Unless, let's debug. We have here no LTO. So if build with why do I do here has flag? Why do I not do if LTO is disabled? I just touched that last week. Should this not be if disabled? Right. No, this is, I read this wrong. Sorry. This is if so that package is okay. So always remove FLTO stuff unless it's a no LTO marked package, so that custom packages like Firefox can do their custom trickery. Okay. So actually, so this actually makes sense. So basically we would need, I mean, I'm also Perl. Okay, this time is not real because I had suspended it with Control Z a couple of times. So yeah. Question there. Hello, can I get started with Linux kernel contributions? Meaning that I have nothing, that I know nothing about kernels. Please answer. Well, of course you can start contributing. I mean, you don't. I mean, you should be able to program a little bit, but recently I saw scrolling by a month ago that someone sent in a patch for their 3 or 4 5-year-old niece or so. So basically, I mean, just documentation typo, but so basically everyone can contribute to, I mean, even I found the other day typos in the documentation. I mean, you just look there, you find typos, right? So if you just want to get your name in there, get started, send patches for improving documentations, typos, other comments, or just if you can code, I mean, just look, I always say just look what you're most interested in, right? And fix that up and so on. So this time, 35 minutes is not real because I had suspended it, so it built like in 12 minutes or whatever. And we will see with bin utils. So I don't really, so this does not build in, do I not have another window for that? Probably not. T2 supported hardware, I just had it open already. Hardware. Server. I'm using here some TV as a monitor. That sucks so much. The latency is so high. Don't get a TV for a bloody second display. Just moving the mouse is an annoyance. HP. So we previously had 6 minutes. So let's see. So that was before LTO. I wonder if I had, so I have this in newest with LTO. Find the node. So yeah, I want to wait this performance. So we would need to build Btop with debug symbols. I mean, Subversion works. It does work, right? Of course, this distracts the benchmark a tiny little bit. It influences the outcome just the tiniest. What else could we? So GCC is otherwise trusting. So GCC bin utils. Why would that? So glibc, like basically all the major components are not LTO'd. Standard, I mean that should not have been LTO'd. So this basically should be all non-LTO'd stuff. But yet it's still... So we are not adding that. That is interesting. I need to tackle that in a second. Comments there, want to actually learn about kernels too. Yeah, just get started. As I said, always look like just by fixing typos, you already see a lot of code, right? Your brain still remembers stuff, you still pick stuff up. Questions there, how to learn about kernels. Yeah, I mean, I prefer the classic thing. Read some proper books, right? Some proper system kernel architecture books. Maybe even the Minix book, although I mean maybe the Minix with M, right? The academic Minix microkernel book. Still something to learn, the general concept and illustrations and stuff. So I would always suggest learn proper theory and things. If you hate that for some reason, I mean, I would still suggest to get used to it. You will, in my opinion, learn the best from that. If you don't want to listen to that recommendation for some reason whatsoever, then just poke in the source code and try to fix stuff. But having some proper theoretical education, in my opinion, is the best thing to get started with. So that's unfortunate that this takes 6 minutes. It's only epic, not thread ripping. I certainly need a second CPU. What else can we? I should probably test set standard. Does set standard have a built-in benchmark? Probably not. Or do they? Do they compression algorithm? Set standard. Okay, it's not that broken. Decompresses and compresses and decompresses, and that should maybe I even synced the logs. Let's see. I believe I synced the logs, so that would be. Did I not? Oh, here. So yeah, this is LTO'd on the server. So this is LTO'd set standard. Bin utils. So 625, and so the time it's a little bit slower, but it potentially LTOs a little bit more, right? So it's not too bad for potentially higher optimized, but potentially taking. I mean, Lua, Bash was a similar time. I think Lua was significantly longer, like maybe 40 something seconds. So obviously the build time varies greatly with various optimization levels. No surprise there. Let's give that one more try, because we kind of sort of need to debug it anyway, right? So smart LTO, except so that does not do the most yet. Let's build that again. What other stuff do we have to do? So set standard works, GDB appears to somewhat work. We would need to, let's cancel that. We need the sources to do source level debugging, so keep source. That's why we have these options here, right? And I just edit this with an editor because it's faster. Of course, you find all those options through the config UI, and welcome everyone there. So I hope, leave in the comments below how amazing is this ASMR. I mean, I am obviously using noise cancelling headsets to have this at least somewhat less dramatically loud. Yeah, I need a second CPU, so theoretically we should also filter stack protector stuff generically. Come on, you can do it. Should be ready in just some seconds. Actually, let's try to start X. I believe. Alright, we have yep. Because I booted from the previous installation, not the latest one. So X comes up. Xterm also doesn't crash immediately. The GLX failed to create DRI2. Load failed to load driver DRSI. What is that? Floating point. Assist fault. That's not ideal. I have not tried GLX gears previously. That is obviously a showstopper for running Quake 3 on this machine next month. Oops, what is serious? Okay, so we killed that. I need to, I mean, X came up. I did not test GLX gears previously. Let's maybe test GTK app. Let's 4p post install. We need to run post install for GTK icon cache and stuff. Otherwise, GTK, it's, yeah, 2023 is the year of the Linux desktop, and GTK stuff crashes if you didn't run its icon and shared MAML4 stuff. So there is that. It wouldn't be a Linux if it wouldn't segmentation fault without running some administrative things. I hope we remove all. I mean, historically I never had a problem with removing debug options, but these modern things, they put so much stuff in here. I can't even be sure that it's not sneaking some. GTK display GTK demo. Yeah, GX failed, thank you very much. I mean, it doesn't segmentation fault. I can't look at the output right now, but it's probably fine. Why does this... What have I done here? Is that... Did I reboot that? I'm lost in. Don't tell me. Did I somehow... What have I done here? Did I somehow press arrow up and rebuild or something? Not stripped. Yeah, somehow I rebuilt this for some stupid reason. So much to fingering too much on your Tmux stuff thing. So GDB has it been Btop core version symbols. Let's see how that goes. Really sure what's going on with killing access control C here. Somehow this is not current load. Not processing. I mean, obviously a working GDB would be a benefit. Let's see if basic debugging works. It's the first time live, it's the first time I tried GDB on IA-64 probably. Like main. Yeah, that does something. Run. Wait, this is already. This. Why is this strange now? Let's test first basic debugging functionality. Misc archive hello world. GDB. Create main. Okay, that works. There is precious IA-64 disassembly. Let's test the same for C++. That breakpoint add that actually also works. Amazing. That works. Why does Btop? What does Btop do? Basic string, very even freaking. I mean, the STL should not be LTO'd, so. I mean, we have the whole log of. So that it builds here LTO support, that is normal, but it here's even F now LTO. Why can't we debug that? Let's see, can it disassemble main? It can disassemble main. Could not load shared library symbols. Okay, I mean, those libraries don't have symbols, so that is called after throwing an instance of standard length error. It sounds a little bit like this occurs before Btop. So that is relatively whatever it does there, get random, break. That is rather strange. I'm pretty sure that worked previously. If we go into the previous build, I didn't get Btop compiled there. Oops. Okay, but we have this slightly... Somewhere I had built up a Btop build. Yeah, here it works. That is strange. What did we build here? What build is this? Okay, this was a fixed speed build, no LTO. Let's go in here. I don't have the T2, I would need to bind out. I mean, we could check if maybe we should check actually if this, maybe it's not LTO related after all. So yeah, if no compiler guru is looking into IA-64 support, then obviously the compiler degraded a little bit with the only constant is change in regressions, and regressions happen even for precious PowerPC to my right. 2 years ago I sent a patch in there to unbreak cell and G5, still not applied, so who is surprised? Let's test the newer, which is smart. What was the other? Oh, this was speed. So, yeah, okay, this is smart without LTO. Did I? All right. Can we move the T2 sources? I mean, maybe. All right. Need to delete the config because it doesn't match then. So that simply regenerates the config from the installation that matches. And welcome everyone. So that takes what, 3 minutes? I mean, maybe I should r-link the T2 sources, then I can do 2 builds. I mean, although the CPU load will be 100% anyway. I can also build it for both. So that builds with that installation default, that should be smart, no LTO, no debug symbols. Let's see. I mean, if we just think about it, what should crash? I mean, should there be C++, CTOS, initializers? Yeah, to no one's surprise, supporting plenty of architectures with your own operating system is plenty of work. And that's what we are live streaming that and asking to share, like, subscribe, Patreon, YouTube membership, all the other funny good stuff. So given that Subversion works, Subversion is using SQLite, so SQLite also works. I mean, in general, C++ is supposed to work because GCC itself and maybe parts of bin utils are C++ in the meantime. tmux works. I mean, the whole kernel works, but that is not LTO'd. Of course, it's a little bit risky to build with LTO. That potentially might not be the super most stable. But again, if you're not testing it, there would be nobody else, and it's probably better to document it and mark those packages that currently break for Itanium IA-64 LTO. They're not doing it. Otherwise, very few would otherwise ever debug in this. And then the next step would be to find the reduced test case of that and either submit it upstream, which, I mean, yeah, good luck finding someone who wants to debug Itanium code generation for GCC, and otherwise debug it ourselves, which probably eventually we would need to do, will do. By the way, why does it say LTO1? Does it always go through LTO, or why? I mean, we should remove that, right? Or maybe the bug actually is that it is doing LTO behind our back. I mean, beside LTO being the actual bug. Builds is both, right? Let's background that. Ah, right, we don't. There is indeed, when I 10 minutes before, 10 or 15 minutes before, there is indeed a bug. Now, good that we check that. It indeed is doing LTO behind our back, of course it is. But so that would be, so this might be LTO breaks it. Let's see if it works in, okay, this crash is not the same, okay. But the bug is actually, there is a bug where I was previously looking at. Because we want to remove it if LTO is not enabled, or it is flagged no, oh wait, and not has flagged no LTO. And then, so yeah, so that was indeed a bug. So we did not build it without the LTO. So does this make sense now? By the way, I usually use not one in the shell scripting, so that if someone sets random garbage in the configuration, that everything not one is false. I try to stick to that. So that if it's otherwise, like if it's empty or -1 or whatever, that everything else, or to whatever. So if LTO is not on, if it is not true. So if it's not on, or wait, it's confusing. If it's not on, what? Maybe the Itanium is too low. LTO. Okay, no, this is actually, so if it's not on and not, no, so this is, if it's not on, remove it. The only question then is, Do we want to remove it for... Previously we had generically remove it also for the case we built with Cling. Some packages had hard-coded GCC stuff that fails with Cling. You know what, maybe we better be safe than sorry. So remove it here. Alright, previously I had here. Alright, this is okay. So how many iterations does it take to have a bug-free conditional maze like that? Apparently some. So, if not LTO, then remove it. Otherwise, if no LTO, then disable it for this package and do nothing, might be custom stuff. Otherwise, remove it and use exactly what's specified. What a maze. So, I guess time to rebuild it. So unfortunately this will, you know what, we probably want to build it verbose to see what's going on. And again, excessive cross-architecture testing apparently has then uncovered and fixed yet another conditional bug. Yeah, probably probably when I wrote it I was feeling like, yeah, somehow it's a little bit sketchy and maybe we're missing something, so maybe a recurring pro tip. If something feels a little bit, if with your experience it already is a little bit tricky, then maybe draw a code path, pseudo code path diagram thing. Maybe also as a rules, I probably try to over optimize it, having this variable remove conditional thing there only once. Pro tip, maybe not overthink it, try to not over optimize your conditional stuff, even though it's super simple and so on. It's basically like if you in the end cannot follow your conditional nonsense anymore, then it's probably too much. I have high hopes that this fixes that. Yeah, GLX, we could check what's going on here with Mesa. But there is some Radeon SI driver. Why is this not found? Maybe they have a hard-coded lib64 path somewhere. It looks like it should actually work, except that it doesn't. I believe probably the per file compilation here is now slower, because now the difference is now it's optimizing, GCC is optimizing each file and writing a final object file already, a finally optimized object file. Otherwise with LTO the compilation of the individual files is faster, and then the final linking is way slower, because it's doing then the whole program optimization. How many files are this? 60%. I mean, thankfully it's not that many files. What else can we do already? Except waiting. I also have here, the question is, does it still work? Because I had this moved, right? Yeah, it's not here anymore because I moved it. It's in the other. It's funny that, of course, the I nodes are the same. So moving that, it's funny how that works, right? The somehow visibility and security issue. I moved it in out. I was in the change root and moved this directory to another change root of the same file system, and because that current working directory of the shell was still in there, the files were tricky stuff, right? Tricky Unix and Linux stuff. The files were not visible in this change root, but because the shell had an open file descriptor, it was basically sitting on the working directory in then the other that was moved by in the file system to the other change root, right? So that is why I didn't want it to really modify this something not for subsequent commands potentially fail or whatnot. But yeah, this container namespace, handle aka inode and stuff, details, tricky at times. Come on, you can link it. Yeah, that linked in 3 minutes there, like Btop draw. Yeah, GCC also became so ridiculously slow. Yeah. How long was the total build time? We probably could test if GDB works so stable enough to actually be able to step through a working. Okay, so LTO breaks it, at least in this case. So then let's test it here, moving it back, use the source, moving it from one change root sandbox into another. Let's do that here again, but let's build it with debugging symbols just for the also we need to actually wipe the configuration again because it is slightly different. But let's set it to debug. So that is smart, LTO, debug and keep sources. Keep sources here. I'm just not sure. You know what, let's disable tempfs for a second because I'm not sure if we keep sources in tempfs. If that combination actually is supported. Could test it for the maximum test impact, but so the difference is that is the otherwise LTO system. So let's test if so all those per job things should be faster. Let's GDB, not GDB, Btop. Alright, this is non-native. Wait, does it still not work? I thought I had this just fixed. Actually, wait. Oh, this is even more buggy and tricky. Why did nobody of my commentaries catch that? Because it has no LTO, we don't remove it here now. What a tricky mess. But that means I anyway wanted to add another flag of custom LTO. Yeah, it's really many use cases. So it's fully disabled. It is enabled, but that package doesn't support it. And so basically, we would need so this will break Firefox. Maybe we prepare, so to unbreak, so only substitute for complexity is more complexity apparently, right? So I mean, I wanted to do it anyway, so then let's do it now. Has flag custom LTO, or remove it, or also not had, but has, what do I even type here? Has flag custom LTO, or remove it. So, oh wait, this is also, oh, what a complex mess. Basically, so not to check again that, what a mess. What was I thinking? I was thinking this still wouldn't work. Alright, because so that would work. So basically we would need to check for, the problem is I start to mix Lua and what is even the shell? Else if left, right. What a mess. So if it's disabled, just always remove it. Otherwise, if it has custom LTO, then remove it as a baseline. If it is flagged no LTO log, that this package doesn't support LTO yet. And then if it does not have flag custom LTO, I think this finally could work. So the only thing is now we also need to leave GCC. And Firefox, and the others I would need to check. Because we do LTO stuff there. Wow. Yeah, I really had like the force inside me feeling of this LTO conditional thing somehow wasn't perfect. Sometimes it's somehow also lost art, right? Nowadays people just, I mean, like myself here on YouTube, even I should myself more often write some code flow diagrams of this, that. I mean, as stupid as it looks for such simple things, but also, like, maybe also make a real list on paper or text edit. Like, these are the cases, right? No LTO, disabled, but package, but custom, but, it's like, yeah. Let's double check, better double check than be sorry. So yeah, now we remove LTO. Finally. It's like, yeah, I mean, I always look so smart here live on video. I mean, I also make mistakes, right? And sometimes, especially when you build stuff for 25 years and probably need holiday of your open source hobby, then eventually you find some excuses for why you didn't roll it perfectly on the first try. Anyway, my coffee is also empty. That's not good. And then we hopefully finally can release our Linux distribution with even mostly LTO'd Itanium, which is of course another huge step forward for keeping this stuff better maintained, for actually having a list. As I said, actually having a list of stuff that doesn't work. I probably should quickly check what other C++ package. Is there any other, I mean, binutils is using partially. Maybe I should check what parts of binutils, or maybe only the gold linker. Okay, that doesn't qualify the most. Do we have any other C++ thing? Maybe thin provisioning profiles. I need to check if we have a rust-free overlay for that. So, what did I just say? Thin provisioning. Yes, the name is so long. Okay, I have here minus IA-64, I believe. I previously had here some overlay for some other architecture. No? Maybe I didn't commit this yet. No, sorry. YouTube is whining about the bitrate. That's unfortunate. Contrast. 5% drop frames. What bitrate is it even? 5 Mbit though. I believe the current version of OBS does not allow to change the bitrate while you are on coder setting. Actually, oh, this is constant bitrate actually. Constant. It's 2.5 Mbit. Yeah, it is what it is. Okay, let's check our Discord where we slightly shortly wait. Come on. To be fair, a PS3 would build it slower and a Steam Deck not that much faster, so... Did I somewhere I had... We can actually then check here on my Ryzen. I don't have this... I thought I had a thin provisioning profile for some other architecture. So for the overlaying, I was thinking, because I have also on my to-do overlay packages, so maybe maybe one way would be overlays. What do we have? Target overlay, and then like rust-free or stuff, and then we would have here Firefox and then provisioning tools or whatever it was. Let me just check it. Then provisioning, you know what, pro tip, don't retype it, use your shell substitution. So that would be some way to do overlays, right, for all this stuff. Why is this so? Okay, because this is per file slower because it optimizes each file. I have high hopes that this works. If I just would have had more coffee here. Next I need to train my 3-year-old to make coffee for me, but to be fair, he always wants to help. The only thing is I'm at home, I'm just not using coffee machines, so manually grinding beans and putting it on the stove is a little bit, he helps a lot, but it's a little bit too much to ask for a 3-year-old alone. But he nearly does it. So you can do it. I need a second processor. eBay links appreciated to a second processor module that fits into this machine. Oops, so I somehow typed on the wrong. Okay, that works without LTO. Yay. So let's test GDB at its fullest. So GDB user bin Btop. So LTO breaks some advanced C++ stuff indeed. That's unfortunate, but better to build most, like 98% with LTO hopefully. So Btop break main run. Hey, that works. So even GDB freaking works on Itanium most. I mean, the other was a tricky early initialization C++ exception that probably GDB would be as shitty on other platforms as well. Layout as did we, so stepping through that just so there. I mean, it mostly works, except now I control C, so not sure if this, anyway, otherwise it worked. So yeah, now we only need to commit this, right? So theoretically GCC, Firefox, and I mean, maybe even we need to mark the Linux kernel. Why do, okay, you know what, let's just do this custom LTO. Theoretically we also need to document that. Our package flex, maybe here. Trickery in English word. Anyway, basically this is like LTO complex stuff like Firefox and Linux kernel roll their own complexity to actually make it work. So MISC, GCC, Firefox, anymore. Country Btop. Did I have GCC Firefox? Alright, Linux Btop. So it's basically an atomic commit of custom LTO for GCC. Fixed. Do you see that line? Let me just... I think you see the line, right? Yeah. Fixed. LTO disabled or LTO flag to really for packages that all their own marked Btop. I mean, theoretically, you know what, let's commit this without that. Fixed LTO disabled or no LTO flag to really remove FLTO hard-coded in some packages. Edit custom LTO for packages that roll their own. It's probably one password entry later. Do you for some? No. And then, yes, Itanium. Happy that you enjoy that. Previous videos, more main channel, the reports of the death of Itanium are greatly segregated. Maybe one day we even implement a tiny Itanium in an FPGA, as we did for RISC-V and other fun stuff, so don't forget to share, like and subscribe for some Itanium IA-64 today. Let's mark Btop, no IA-64. And theoretically we need to do the same for GCC. Let me see if we can make this work. Because currently we had so LTO. So basically we can't do that for Itanium. Maybe we do here if config LTO and not has oh shit, did I commit this wrong? Was it has flag with underscore or not? Oh no, without underscore. Has flag and not has flag, no LTO, because then we could, like if LTO enabled and not has flag, because then we can dynamically flag it as custom LTO but no LTO IA-64. Is that not, if that is not an amazing build system, then I don't know what is. There might be 24 crap build systems, but T2 is not one of them. Anyway, there are 24 sucking build systems and then there is T2, obviously. So, I guess that could be committed, right? I mean, we should test that, but I'm not going to build GCC on this Itanium, so basically, does it make sense? Custom LTO, no LTO. So custom LTO is to leave that alone. Then we do our own. We have no LTO IA-64, so if LTO is enabled and not has flag no LTO. I think that should work. Usually pro tip, I would test it, just I'm committing this for an Itanium where I'm not rebuilding this for 3 or 6 hours, right? So it's probably fine. Improve GCC to only enable LTO if not disabled per arch right now for IA-64 for now. Does that make sense? Improve GCC to only enable LTO if not disabled or custom observe. So let's pull this stuff in, maybe selectively. Risk package GCC should probably be enough. I had something custom here already. This is probably just this conditional that we were editing. Because I had overnight hard-coded IA-64. I knew already that I'm not going to use it like that, which is why as usual I didn't commit it like that. So fat-fingered enter when I want big space. What do we have here? Alright, this is multi-level. Okay, this good. So let's probably test that. Someone sends question mark for what? For what do you send question marks? Alright, this is also Free Software Foundation, get your release management together. You have a vastly broken release out there that is unusable for most architectures. Do they have, all we want is 13.2 or 13.3, but they didn't give us that yet. That's unfortunate. Build Itanium. Let's check what is in the log. Remove. Okay, we're not doing that. Let's check rebuilding for something that does LTO. Like x86-64. And let's poke into the log as well. That should, yeah, so that does if this is a little bit strange here. I have the impression this does not work as intended. If not LTO remove. I have a typo here. I have this here with, and that's, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, this is why we test stuff. Nobody caught that here live on. And that is why I poke into the log files. You don't need epic thread ripping or Itanium performance. If you work a little bit clever, 20 years ago I built stuff on a 270 megahertz UltraSpark or 360 megahertz PowerPC, right? Let me just take a phone call, 1 second. So, that GCC finished, and LTO, does this look better? Yeah, so that looks better. That is in GCC frontend. So we are basically only LTOing the GCC frontend because most of the other library stuff breaks anyway. So that is also tested, and I guess that's it for this video, right? We made some, as usual, there were wins and there were other wins, there were bugs found and other improvements made. So much to why do we support Itanium? Because each time we look into exotic, exceptional stuff, we find implementation deficiencies even in our own code. Some, for example, custom LTO I wanted to do for a longer time because it annoyed me just for, it was working, but alright, so what the benefit of what annoyed me for a longer time is that previously T2 printed out LTO not supported for this package. Now it doesn't do that anymore because now we have from my to-do custom LTO, so that you do not see this warning for supported architectures for actually what theoretically we could list so specifically. Anyway, it's still not perfect because we hide the warning for PowerPC when PowerPC doesn't have LTO Linux kernel. So very theoretically we could custom LTO only specifically. I mean, it's one warning. It probably kind of sort of doesn't really matter. If you want to support that, if you want that we do that, leave in the comments below. Questions there. Is this terminal running in a VM? Well, that is my Ryzen. Of course, we work clever, right? And so that's the Itanium. That is, you're saying VM? No, this is real hardware. It's just secure shell over there. So secure shell to the Itanium, secure shell through all of Europe to my office, to the Ryzen. We don't have Windows. We work smart here on Unix systems. That's it for this video. As usual, so many people tuning in, which is I can't really make it much longer, so you probably want to rewind that or watch some other similar videos. Don't forget to share, like, subscribe, maybe Patreon or YouTube membership. Have a good day night. I hope you enjoyed this and learned something, and to see you soon for the next fun stuff to come.